Yo, yes, my people, we're back. True Blue Lifestyle presents just a quick one. And today we've got Rukayah. So we're doing it a bit different today. So today I'm going to bring her in. I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to let her introduce herself and that. But we're going to do it a bit different today. And for anyone that's watching, the link to her Instagram is in the chat box. So for anyone, if you want to hit her up and ask her anything after the show, feel free to do so. Yeah. So I'm going to bring her in now and then we'll get this thing popping. Yo,
Hi,
so what's happening?
I'm good. I'm good. You all right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, just say. So yeah, so introduce yourself to the people.
So, my name's Rukayah. I am like a holistic wellness coach. So, do I do like energy work, womb retreats, um, healing retreats, that kind of stuff, and then I sell products all in line with that kind of work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So where you from? You didn't tell us where you're from. Where you from?
Oh right, sorry, Manchester,
Yeah,
Manchester.
the place to be. So
Mhm.
what's your at on Instagram? What other social media you on?
Just Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah. So what is it? What's your
Yeah, so
name?
it's reiky remedies, um, and YouTube is the Feel It Heal It podcast.
Yeah. All right, sweet. And yeah, I'll get the link to all your fingers as well, and I'll put when this goes up, I'll put all the links to all your socials. The link to her Instagram is in the chat box now. So for everyone that's
Okay.
watching and listening, hit her up. Let her know, show her some love, man. So yeah, so like you were saying, so explain that a bit more, man. What's that? The womb retreat and all that. What's all that?
So it's what I do is it's called it's based off Reiki, which is energy healing, and I've kind of built on top of Reiki, so it'll
Mm.
be one-to-one coaching. Reiki is energy work, so we work at clearing the stagnant energy within your system and your chakras, because we all have like 7 chakras within our body. And like when we go through experiences in life,
Yeah,
say like childhood trauma, or it all forms an energetic block within our
yeah,
system.
yeah, yeah.
So the work I do is to release those blockages so we don't feel like so bogged down, and that's where like a lot of depression and low moods come
Yeah,
from. It's
hundred
all like
percent.
stagnant, stuck energy.
Yeah. So why is it just a female thing? What? So hold on, what's going on here?
No, 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 no. So
Yeah,
Reiki isn't the womb
yeah,
retreat. Yeah,
yeah,
I've only
yeah,
ever done it with women anyway. But the
yeah.
womb retreats, like the womb works women, but Reiki isn't. That's for men and women.
Oh yeah,
Um, we all go through shit, don't we?
yeah, hundred
Everyone
percent.
goes through shit, and we all end up with like this energetic reaction in our body.
Yeah,
And the more shit we go through and we're not aware of it, the more
mm,
like it weighs us down. It
yeah, but
like lays on us heavy, and that's when we're like unmotivated, not inspired, like we get lazy, that kind of stuff. It's just energetic, like energetic weight.
yeah, 100%. And someone just said here, man, definitely needs this. Being through, being through some mad shit. This is what I'm saying. I'm hearing because you know what, yeah. I was
Yeah.
seeing your stuff on Instagram and that, but I thought it was all like for females. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
and do you know what? A lot of people say that, but I think that's just because I'm a woman, so I
Yeah,
connect
yeah,
with women a lot easier.
yeah,
And so I'm always speaking about my own experiences,
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah,
generally relates to other women. But
yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's definitely for men and women.
yeah. Nah, because that's what I do as well. So it's like anything that I speak on. So
Yeah.
anytime you see me put in a video, I'm talking from like personal experience. Do you know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
fully get that and I'm fully aware of it.
And
But
it's usually men that will relate to it, isn't it, as opposed to
yeah,
women?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you see the thing, yeah. So all right, so you see like one-to-one coaching.
Yeah.
Does it have to be like physically in the presence, or could you do it like online?
No, we do it online. I prefer physical, like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
person, just because you can feel energy, can't you?
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it's harder to tap into when you're like doing it at a distance. Like I do it and I offer it, but I just prefer working with people face to face and in person.
yeah,
It just
yeah, yeah,
feels more personal.
yeah. It's all hard work though with all this lockdown, Corona business as well, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, I'd
Are
still be
people a bit
working
weird
though.
now? But yeah, for like us, I don't mind. But then other people a bit weird about coming to see you.
I feel like because of the line of work I'm in,
Yeah,
it's people that are more than they won't. They're more likely to not get sucked into what
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Oh,
do you
so
know
it's
what the government's telling you in.
the whole woke thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, all right. So so then so all right. So with all this that you're doing, so what's like your aim and motivation? Is it basically? Oh, go on, go on.
Do you know what? I just feel like if we know ourselves, there's so much we can achieve. And I think we a lot of the time we allow our past to hold us back.
Yeah, 100%.
And but and we don't even realize it's our past that's
Yeah,
creating these patterns. Like, and a lot of the times we're in fight or flight or we're in survival mode. Like, whereas if we just stop and ask ourselves, like, wow, why am I acting like this? Why am I
yeah,
doing
yeah,
that? Like, it changes so much. We can
yeah,
pinpoint, oh, well, that relates back to when my dad was abusive, or when this happened with my mum, or that kind of stuff. It all relates back, and then you can learn yourself.
yeah, 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 yeah.
1 second, my dog's chewing something. Stop it! Get off. Sorry.
Yeah. Nah, it is. It's true. It's true, and that's what I done a video on that the other day as well. 'Cause it's like I find since I come out of jail and started doing like my stories and all that, yeah, I felt like I'm healing from it. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's especially with a lot of men. A lot of men don't speak. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's like you're bottling a lot of stuff up inside, and you start acting and behaving a certain way, and then before you know it, it's like you're punishing others around you. Do you get what I'm saying? But
Fully.
it's not
Yeah.
really intentional. Do you get what I mean? So I
How
feel
did
like,
you find you were received when you started speaking from men?
you know what? It's like even all right. So for the whole like being in prison and all these things, yeah, I always felt like I was being defensive. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if someone asked me a question like, "Oh, what are you in jail for?" It's always like I'm trying to justify my actions. But
Really?
yeah, so since I've been doing this, so telling my story, and so it's more like people are more intrigued rather than judgmental. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Do you
now I
think?
feel, go on.
Do you think that's because you've come to terms with it?
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like if someone's asking me a question and I'm defensive,
Yeah.
they're automatically gonna be a certain way themselves. You know what I mean? But if I'm just openly, freely speaking, they're gonna be a bit. That the way that they approach me is gonna be a bit different. Do you get what I mean?
Fully. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the thing for me. I find it healing, not to
Fully.
talk about certain things and the feelings and emotions you were going through at the time and certain things. I feel yeah, I heal from it every time I speak on something. I heal from it. Do you get what I mean?
Because it's a release.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
we release things, and we don't even realize. Like, the more we push things to the bottom, the more stuck they become. Like,
yeah, yeah,
when we can have open dialogue and speak on something and share it, it's like we're owning our truth. Like, yeah, that's my story,
yeah,
and we're
definitely.
able to clear it.
Yeah, therefore.
But did you find it hard at first?
Nah, because that's the thing, and this is what I tell people all the time. It's like being in prison. So the sentence what I had, it's like I had to like bargain with them for anything I needed progression wise. I had to bargain with the system. Yeah,
Really?
so yeah, so I was on a life sentence, but it's more of a life sentence of for public protection. So because they got me
Okay.
down as a gang member and all that, and it's like with all these gang violence and everything else,
Mm.
when things happen, like things just happen out in the open in public. Do you get what I'm saying? So now they say
Yeah.
we're a danger to the public. So now
Okay.
I have to convince everybody that I'm no longer a danger.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
How
if
do
you
you
can't
do that?
speak, you just have to learn how to speak. Do you get what I mean? Because
Mm.
if you can't present yourself in a certain way, they're not gonna buy it. Do you know what I mean? So then you're never gonna
Yeah.
get out of jail. So it's just over time, over years, you start to learn certain tactics and ways to speak and how to get your point across without being aggressive. Because a lot of us that come from the roads, we're just angry and aggressive all the time. So it's always
You're
angry and
constantly
aggressive.
in like protection mode. That's
Yeah,
why.
100%. Yeah,
And
100%.
especially being in that kind of lifestyle, you're
Mm.
constantly on guard.
Yeah,
So
no, definitely.
the simplest of interaction, you can't just switch it on and switch it off when you want
Yeah,
to. You're
because
in that mode 24
you're
7.
you're always thinking and feeling that everyone's out to get you. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's hard to see when somebody's trying to help. Because
Mhm.
you're just automatically thinking, nah, you're just trying to set me up. You know, you're just
Yeah.
trying to get information to lock me up for even longer.
Mm.
Do you know what I
And
mean?
that's
But
a hard habit to come out of, though.
yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's it, because that's like a literal core belief, like that's been buried into you from a really,
Yeah,
really young age.
yeah, 100%. 100%. It's like, and that's another thing as well. Like, even speaking on childhood traumas and that, yeah,
Mm.
it's almost like we normalize violence. Do you know what I mean?
Fully.
We normalize these things. So it's like, especially growing up in the places we grew up in, it's like you're seeing drive-bys from an early age. You're seeing
Mm.
um armed robberies and all these type of things. You get what I'm saying? But it's almost
Mhm.
like we normalize these things. We
Mhm.
normalize it, and it starts to take its toll on us mentally
Yeah.
as we get older. You know,
And
like,
because if you see it so frequently, it's hard for it not to be
yeah,
thought as
100%.
normal.
But
Like,
when you're in prison, there's some, you see some horrible stuff in there as well. But
really.
yeah, so when I first went in, and I'm seeing, so even things like control and restraint. So if the officers start to twist you up,
Mm.
so if say two people are fighting and they want to get you under control, they'll twist you up. But at first, it's like it's a bit of a horrific thing, like someone getting their arm twisted and the person screaming, and there's all loads of screws running everywhere. It's all a bit raw. What's going on here? And then
Yeah.
after a bit, it becomes the norm, and that's the dangerous part. Do you get what I mean? Because then you start
Mm.
thinking, oh, this is normal. It's normal now.
Mhm.
Next door neighbor kills himself, or yeah, we ain't getting out today. Like,
That's
do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
that becomes your reality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
And I
worst
think
thing though,
that's
go on, go
sorry.
on.
No, go on.
Now the worst thing I see though is what they got this thing called where they call shitting someone up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone will piss shit everything in like a bucket. They'll let it fester for
Oh,
days and then just throw it on whoever, whether it's an officer or another. You know what I mean? It's horrible. The whole
you're
wing just
joking.
stinks. No, I swear to God, it's like a zoo.
And that was normal.
Yeah, it's normal. Like that. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. Like the things what we see in
Yeah.
prison. Do you get what I mean? It's almost like it's not normal at all. Like I've just said, it's
Mm.
normal. It's not. It's not normal, but you're
But
led to
how
believe
do
it's
you?
normal.
This is what I'm interested in. How do you go from that? Because how long were you in prison for?
12 years.
How do you go from that for 12 years to coming out and being of a sane and healthy mind?
This is what.
How do you make that transition?
Yeah. So this is kind of what I'm doing now. Do you get what I mean? So
Mm.
it's like I feel the best therapy for me is talking about it.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, so say like we're having this conversation now. So if I'm saying to you like, yeah, people are throwing shit everywhere. People sometimes they cover themselves in it, so the officers won't touch them.
Yeah.
And if I'm sat here saying to you, yeah, that's normal, you're saying to me, no, it's not. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, you know what, it's not normal. But then if I would
Mm.
speak to somebody that has done a lot of jail as well, they will understand
That's the
what I'm
norm
saying.
for them.
Do you get what I
Mm.
mean? So it's just coming back out into society and speaking to normal people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
But I
just
just
seeing it
think,
what it
like,
is.
mentally, that must have took its toll on you, though.
Yeah,
To go
100%.
from being in a cage for
Yeah,
12 years to coming out and having, well, more freedom than you had. I'm guessing you were on, what's it called? Probation and stuff.
yeah.
But it was more freedom than what you had, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So,
nah, 100%.
and to go back to expected to live in a normal life
Mm.
after that, like, that must have took its toll mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, nah, definitely. It was as much as I feel it was easy, it was a bit of a hard transition. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I can
To go
imagine.
from that to this, because it's like in prison, everything's a fight.
Yeah.
Everything's a fight. Do you know what I mean? So that whole fight or flight thing, that is every day in prison. So the simplest of thing, like, so, oh, shut up, you dickhead. That's a fight in prison. And if you don't fight them, then it's almost like you're a punk. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And that's just the
Do you,
mentality. Whereas out here, so it's like I might be walking down the street and someone's looking at me. In prison, that's automatic. Like, what are you
a
looking at?
fight. Yeah.
Yeah, like, what are you looking at? What's up? But then out here, it's a bit normal, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's
And it's
crazy.
making that transition. And I think it's things like this and the things that you've been doing. This is like, your story is unique, I think, personally. And it's not every single person that's going to sit there and talk to me about everything that you've just shared.
Mm.
But it's stuff like this that's why I'm saying to you, like, what have you done to help you along and heal on that journey? Because therapy, reiki, energy work, that, it sounds like to me, after listening to you, I'd be like, you need a reiki session. Or even
Mm.
if you don't feel like physically that's what you need right now, and I'm not even like trying to plug myself even with anybody else, but
Yeah.
just to release that, because there's been so much, like, there's all of that experience has created an energetic reaction, and that's all
Yeah.
sitting in you, like that being in fight or flight mode, like your energetic body will be tense and tight.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's true. It is. It's definitely true, and it is somewhat because you know what I was thinking about getting into yoga and all that because
Mm.
I like. I used to do yoga in jail, but you see
Did you?
all that, like, yeah, all that spiritual feel. Like, you know what it is. I'm starting to like I'm proper into like the law of attraction and
Your
the law,
mind's a magic thing, you know.
yeah, and the law of what's the other one? Gratitude. The law of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it's like where they say, rather than focusing on what you've not got, be
Focus
grateful
on
for
what.
what you do have. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And you'll find yourself a lot more happier. Just like
Mhm.
when I first come out of jail, I would sit there and say things to myself like, "Oh, all my old homies, they're out here, they're making dough, they're doing this. No one's not checking for me." And do you know what I mean? And then I find myself getting angry all the time. So
Yeah.
it's almost like I'm feeling some type of way towards these people. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But then really it should just be like it's not really that. Think about what you do have. I could,
Yeah.
you know what, and I say this all the time, I could make one phone call now and be up. But then
Yeah.
that's going back down that path. That's what I don't want to do. Do
Mhm.
you get what I'm saying? So rather
Mhm.
than doing all that, focus on what you do have, focus on your
Mhm.
relationship, focus on the fact that you're free, focus on all these type of things, you know what I mean?
But I do think that whole, like, being in a place of, oh, look where they are and look where I am, I feel like that's just a natural part of coming out of jail and
Mm.
progressing. Like, I don't think anybody that went through what you went through would come out of jail and be like, okay, wicked, let's go. You're going to be very
Yeah.
aware of everybody's moved forward and I'm starting at square one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
process, but fully your mind is powerful. And
Mm.
the more we're in a space of gratefulness, because the universe responds to a feeling, don't
Yeah.
respond to words, don't
Yeah.
respond
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like pictures, it responds to how we feel. and how we feel creates more of that. So if we're feeling shit, we're going to create more shit in our lives.
Yeah. Nah, definitely. That is the nah, but you, because I used to sit there and think to myself like, nah, it's all rubbish. It's all rubbish. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah. Someone kept saying to me, "Watch The Secret on Netflix.
Yeah.
Watch The Secret on Netflix." I'm saying, nah, man. But at that time, I was in a bad place mentally. Do you get what I mean? The
You couldn't.
environment I was in, I was in a negative environment, so I couldn't even think straight. Do you know what I mean? To
Yeah.
even try and practice anything.
Yeah.
Try practice the law of attraction, try practice the law of gratitude, any of that. You know, I couldn't see any positive, you know,
Yeah.
but then I got out of that negative situation and then start to focus my mind a lot different and try think a lot different, you know, and things are starting to fall into place.
Yeah, and they will do, and the more you focus on that, the more you'll create. I
Yeah,
think
yeah, therefore.
I get the whole thinking it's a load of shit thing. I think for me though, I grew up with a really, really strict Muslim dad. So I had like the Muslim religion
Yeah.
like heavily put on me growing up. And I rebelled from early when it came to that. And so I think because I rebelled, I kind of went and found my own. But even with you saying when you were told about it, you just weren't in the space to hear it. It's similar. Like, so it took me, I fully got into it or was aware of it when I was about 23. And that's because I had a miscarriage and I was proper like depressed and I was like, I need something. And I got into like spirituality, but just like dipping my toe in. I wasn't like on it like I am now. But from 25 till about, no, even younger, maybe like 22 till about 28, I was only just dipping my toe in. And it wasn't until I was about 27, 28 where I was like, no, this is legit. Like it works properly. Like this is what I want to do. But it's a process. And I think we get little seeds along the way. And it all builds up to this bigger picture as we get further on.
Yeah, definitely. It's mad that you said that, you know, about the religion being pushed on you, because that's exactly what happened to me in jail.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like in 2008. Yeah, 2008 when I've gone to Strange Ways, I've ended up taking my shahada. Because you know what it was? You see, in primary school, I had a lot of like Asian friends, yeah. So you see, with things like say the month of Ramadan, so then they would be fasting. So then I'm thinking, like, what's got? Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, what's got? So then they're explaining this to me. So then I'm kind of getting fascinated by what they're saying to me. Do you get what I mean? So it's like I've always had, I wouldn't say a fashion. I've always been intrigued with the deen, yeah. So then when I've gone to prison and I start reading books and I start studying and all that, then I thought, you know what? All right, I'm taking my shahada. I take my shahada. When I got to high security, because in high security prisons, the Muslims run the prison basically.
Really?
Yeah, but it's more a gang, because in the high security prisons, that's where you have the brothers that are locked up on like terrorism charges. Yeah, so they're all in the high security estate.
Yeah.
So now the way it was, so I think in about before 2005, before 2005, there wasn't much Muslims in the high security estate. Yeah, so when these brothers were going to prison for the terrorism charges, they were getting pressure. They were getting pressure. So people would like be like, "Oh, you done this, you done that," and then they're getting a lot of pressure put on them. But then when a lot of these like say gang members from London were going to prison for these long times, they're going in there as Muslim, but remember they've still got the street mentality. So they're going in there, they're stabbing people, they're fighting, they're doing all these type of things. So then after like 2005, the Muslims have become like the strongest gang within the prison system.
No way.
Yeah, so there's 5 high security prisons. So what it'll be is that you'll get bounced from these 5 different prisons. Yeah, so wherever, so say let's say for example, one person gets into a fight in one high security prison, they get shipped out. You go into one of the other 5. So then they'll go to that prison and get beat up in there, and you've
it's
got
just
people.
kind of circles.
Yeah. So now, basically, the brothers are controlling the high security estate. But what it is, with power comes abuse. Do you know what I mean? So then people start abusing the power. So then that was the same thing what happened to me. I started thinking, you know what? I was in a gang outside. Why am I gonna come to prison and join another gang? Do you know what I mean?
And can I just say though, that isn't the Muslim religion.
Exactly.
It's not the Muslim religion. And as much as I'm not a Muslim anymore, it is a beautiful religion.
Yeah.
Like when it's followed from the Quran. As opposed to how people misconstrue it, because people do that, like terrorism, all of that. It's all that's not people following the Quran.
Yeah.
But like, it's not. That isn't. People misconstrue it and take power, and they use power and they manipulate and it's like any religion. You take what you want out of it, so it works in your benefit, don't you?
And that's exactly what's happening in the system. So then a lot of people are like, you kind of, like you said, you're making like a beautiful thing into like some mad, and it's crazy, you know, because people are getting stabbed up and all these types. So it's like carnage. Do you know what I mean?
Joking.
I swear down that it's crazy. Like that's exactly what goes. It's crazy, and it's like I just sit there and I think to myself, and it's like I'm stubborn. I'm a stubborn guy. So then when all these things, I'm thinking, I forget that. I'm not doing it, because now it's like you're almost trying to instill fear in me. Do you know what I mean? I ain't scared of nobody, so that's I'm gonna go this way now and forget you. Do you know what I mean? It's just when you said that, then it made me
reminded you of it.
Yeah. My hay fever's killing me. You know, have you got any reiky remedies for hay fever?
Do you know? No, but do you know what's meant to be really, really good for hay fever? It's not called organic honey, but it's like organic honey.
Yeah.
And there's somewhere in Charlton is it Charlton? Have you ever seen like that honey place where they sell honey and where they grow honey in Charlton?
Nah.
Well, there's some place anyway. I've drove past it before, and that's meant to be really good. But I don't get hay fever, so I don't know.
I'm bad for it, me. I'm bad for it. Yeah.
I've never had hay fever.
Yeah, it's nice. It's horrible. It's horrible for me. My eyes are stinging. You start looking high in that. But yeah. So what was it like for you growing up? Like, what was your story? So you said like you came from like a Muslim household. So
So my mum's English. She's from Newcastle, and my dad is Iraqi. So if Iraqis are like the strict Muslims, there's no messing about. And I think it was quite like confusing, because it would be like one way to live, because they split up when I was about 8, and it was kind of like you lived one way with your mum, the English way, and then I went to my dad's, and it was very like this. We didn't eat ham. I had to dress a certain way, like. So it was. I think it was quite a conflicting message to like send kids.
Yeah.
So I had that, and I just rebelled. Like they were very strict, but then strict in terms of like they put a lot of pressures on what a woman should be or what a girl should be. And I found like my brothers didn't have those same pressures on them. And then I just got off. Off when I was 16, and I was living in like hostels, sleeping on people's settees. Like I was just like homeless till I was about 19, 20. So from about 16 to about 19, I was homeless. And then through that time, like then I just got my own place and kind of progressed by myself, really.
Yeah. So where was you originally from? Was you originally from Newcastle?
No, my mum is. I'm not.
So was you born in Manchester?
From Fallowfield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So then you just got off. You just got off and then started
I ran away with a bin bag full of clothes, like, and I just got off.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. So now, all right. So with everything you've been through and everything you know now, what advice would you give the next generation? So if you could go back in time, what would you say to, like, say, the 13, 14-year-old you?
Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
And don't
Yeah.
listen to anyone when they tell you like you're not good enough or you're not worthy of the life that you want, or yeah. And I think it's a lot to do. I think for me, a lot of the things I've had to unlearn is all to do with like self-doubt and not loving myself. There's been times where I've put myself in situations that if I had have known my worth, I wouldn't have been in.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a lot to do with like self-love for me and valuing myself and just not listening to people like when they tell you that you can't do something. Like,
Yeah.
we can do whatever it is that we want, and
Yeah.
definitely being self-aware, like question your own behavior. That's the biggest thing that has helped me on my journey of being aware of my behaviors. Like, why do I hate being told what to do? Oh, right, well, that probably goes back to when my dad used to try and control me.
Yeah.
Why do I think it's that element of self-awareness that helps us unpick our patterns, so we're not ignorant to it. And if we're not ignorant to it, we can heal it, as uncomfortable as it might feel initially.
Yeah. Nah, because that's the thing, you know, and I say this all the time. So it's like a lot of the time, people try and control you into being what they want you to be rather than
Fully.
what you need to be. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like you see it all the time in like abusive relationships, parents bringing up the kids a certain way and all these type of things. So what I say to people is that you just have to do for self, like do for you in it. Do you know what I mean? Don't all right, it's different if you're in, say you're in a relationship and obviously it's all about understanding. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna start behaving and acting a certain way because then I know the effect that's gonna have on my partner.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But at the same time, I can't make myself unhappy for you to be happy, because then what's then gonna happen over time is that I'm gonna start resenting you for it.
Fully.
Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean? If I feel I'm being fake in order to satisfy you, I might start blaming you for that.
And
Do you
then
know
what
I mean?
you're doing in that is you're choosing someone else above you. And I think that's one thing that I think our society and our generation has got fucked up. But I think it's something that we're learning now. We're told that putting ourselves first and choosing ourselves is selfish. Like, I know I get it a lot with my family. Like, if I don't want to do something, it's, oh, you're awkward. You've always got. But I'm like, but I don't want to do it. Why am I doing it?
Yeah.
But we're told that we need to sacrifice what we want in order to people please.
Yeah.
And all that's doing is choosing other people before ourselves. And yes,
Are you the baby?
Nah, I'm the oldest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the
Like
oldest.
a lot of the time, the youngest is always the rebel. Do you know what I mean?
No, I was the oldest. No. I know. Well, from my dad anyway, the oldest from my dad. But I think that's a lot of why I don't know, but I've just been a rebel from a young age. The minute I was told to do something, it was like, nah. And I don't think it's a rebel. I think it's just knowing your own mind.
Yeah, defo. Yeah, 100%. No, it is.
But defo choosing ourselves. And yeah, we can compromise, but we can compromise, but when it comes at sacrificing ourselves, that's when it's a no for me.
Yeah. It's a bit of an ask, innit? Because then it's always gonna be a vicious cycle. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you're not happy or they're happy, or like everybody just needs to be happy. You know? And
I do feel like we've been told, though, we've been brought up to people please and to put other people's needs before our own. I
No,
definitely think
definitely.
we've been brought up to do that. Even
Yeah.
like parents and everything. I think people that put themselves first a lot of the times have been labelled selfish.
Mm. No, because that's one of the things as well. What they taught us in prison on these courses, what we do, yeah, on these behavior courses. So they tell us to be assertive. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? So don't be passive and don't be aggressive, because if you're passive, that's gonna leave you feeling unhappy. Now, if I approach situations aggressive, that's gonna make you unhappy. Do you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
if we can find like a common ground and we both be assertive, we're
Yeah.
both gonna walk away from. We might not walk away happy, but none of us are gonna be sad, or do you know what I mean?
And you
And that,
both spoke your truth. You both said how you feel, and you might not have got what you wanted from the situation, but you aren't going to go away and fester on stuff that could have been said. Or do you know what I mean? And I
yeah,
think it's boundaries in it. And like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
my
yeah.
boundaries are crossed, I'm gonna say, do you know what? I didn't like when you did that. And
Mm,
it doesn't matter how you take it,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
as long as
yeah.
I'm not aggressive or passive, and I'm just saying I don't like that. But I think people find that uncomfortable. They don't know how to handle people that are like that.
Yeah, and that's what I say all the time. Is like, I think, me personally, a lot of these stuff what goes on in like gangs and on the streets and all that, it's just because we don't know how to speak, we don't know how to talk, we don't know how to conduct ourselves. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? It's like I've been through countless things in my life. Like I got shot behind these type of things where someone's done something. I know it was them, but then when the situation comes back on me now, and people are saying, well, rather than me saying, look, listen, it weren't me, but I'll speak to,
Mm.
I'm just on this, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And then I end up facing the consequences for that. And then the
Mm-hmm.
individual who actually done it, you're just sailing through.
Because
Same
come
thing.
on, how many of us was brought up how to communicate? None of
Yeah,
us.
now I know, 100%, 100%.
None of
Because
us. None of us.
as kids, we're just told like children should be seen and not heard, kind
And
of
not
thing.
heard,
Do you know
literally.
what I mean? Yeah,
Mm.
so
But
you don't even know how to talk or address
yeah,
things.
or even like express our feelings. We're not really. It's if you're crying. I know I was brought up in a house where it was like, "What you crying for? I'll give you something to
Yeah,
cry about." Like
yeah, 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 yeah,
there
yeah.
was, there wasn't. How do you feel? And I said this on the podcast the other day. Like I feel like our parents' generation was just they were in survival mode and they were trying to do the best that they could.
Yeah,
And that was how do I feed them? How do I
yeah.
clothe my kids? How do I put a roof over the head? It wasn't like how do I teach my child how to communicate their emotions or their
Mhm.
feelings or just to communicate effectively? There was none of that.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause even simple things like saying I love you or being
Yeah.
told that I love you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. So
No.
it's like it's crazy. So it's like when you get to like our age now, and I'm going through, I'm thinking, oh, don't say that. Like, do you know what I mean? Don't say that.
Yeah.
Like, forget all that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that. No, forget all that. Oh yeah, I love you. Yeah, you know I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, well, it's just
Do you
it's
think
mad.
that's
It's crazy.
something that you've been able to learn now? Or is it something that you still makes you feel a bit uncomfortable?
Like, you know what it was, yeah, and not to like turn this conversation dark.
No?
I lost my gran to cancer in 2012. Yeah,
Mm.
so I spoke to my mum about a week before or a few days before, and then she says to me, she's like, "Oh, look, spoke to the doctor, saying she's got about a week left." Yeah. So now for that whole week, I'm saying to myself, yeah, tell her you love her, yeah, because I'm sat in jail. I'm sat in jail at this point, yeah. So I'm saying like, tell her you love her, tell her you love her, tell her you love her. So every day I was getting on the phone and I'm speaking to her, but my brain's telling me, like my heart's saying to me, tell
Couldn't
her you
say
love
it.
her. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I'm sat there thinking I'm some gangster. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, oh no,
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. And then I remember the last day I was on the phone to her and I wouldn't let her go off the phone. It's almost like subconsciously I knew that this was the last day. because I
Yeah,
wouldn't let
yeah.
her go off the phone. But then I just couldn't say it. Then she ended up going off the phone. And the next day, that night, I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna say it tomorrow. Forget all this. I'm gonna say it because I'm more thinking
Facts.
about the screws listening. Do you
Mm.
know what I mean? Like I don't want the screws to hear me say it. Or do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day I phoned and they're like, oh yeah, she's gone. So from that I thought, you know what? Like I'm pretending to be this imaginary gangster, yeah. And
At the
the
sake of what other people think.
of course,
And
and it's the first woman, like I say it loud and proud, it's the first woman I've ever truly loved. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
And I didn't even get to tell her that. Then everyone says,
she
oh
knew
yeah,
though.
but that's what
She
everybody
knew.
says to me. I was just about to say that everyone says that, but it's like, yeah, I believe that, but then
Yeah.
for my own peace, for my own inner peace, yeah, I think to myself, why did you not just say it? Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because now look, I've come out of jail and I've fully gone against the grain. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Because now I'm out here telling stories on Instagram and people are like, what the hell are you
But
doing?
maybe the reason why you didn't say it that night or that day was because you needed to learn that lesson in order for
Yeah,
you to be so
100%.
comfortable with it now. And if it
100%.
hadn't have, it took like the relationship with your gran and it's the first woman you've ever loved, it had to be that deep to create such a
100%.
change.
And with the mindset I've got now, yeah, and the way I see things now, I was saying it the other day. It's like I believe because I went through a lot of things. Like while I was on this street stuff, I went through a lot of things. While everyone else was getting locked up and going to jail, I just skated through. Do you know what I mean? Every time like something would go on, they could have sent me to jail for it, but they would try and put loads of different charges on me that would never stick.
Right.
Then I got shot when I was 17. That didn't change my mindset.
Mm.
I went to prison. While I was in prison, that didn't change my mindset. It took me losing my gran for me to
Is that
sit
what it
there and say,
was?
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like now I'm saying to myself, I have to do better. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
I feel all them negative things that went on it, well, all these things that went on in my life, I think they were signs from the universe saying to me, like, look, this isn't your path.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't what you're supposed to be doing. Do you get what I mean? Because I've always thought different. I've always been a deep thinker and a
Mm-hmm.
different mindset. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm doing all these things like on the roads and whatever else, I'm looking at things and now I'm starting to see that they were signs, they were warning shots, you know? So it's
Mm.
almost like my grand became a sacrifice for me to see that you're on the wrong path. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't your calling. Being a criminal on the streets, a gang member, isn't your calling. Now
Mm-hmm.
look, I told my story on Instagram when I first come out. And now if I didn't tell I wouldn't be speaking to you now.
Not at
Do you know what I
all.
mean? Think about how many, like, now I'm connecting with so many different people
Mm-hmm.
that are thinking the same as me.
Mm-hmm.
How many people reach out to me and say, you know what? I listened to your story and it's made me think. I didn't even realize until I started listening to what you were
Do
saying.
you
Do you
know
know what I
what?
mean?
It's mad. I came across you randomly. I was watching YouTube one day and I'd been listening to like people because I love hearing people's stories. It's That's where I get inspiration from, like people's journeys and the growth and the things that they've been through and the lessons they've learned from that. So I'm watching something, then I come across this video on YouTube, and it was something like gang member, blah blah blah, something like that. And I was like, oh, and it said you're from Manchester on there. So I was watching it, and then the more I heard it, I was like, fucking hell, like
Yeah.
that is inspirational. That is
Mm.
inspirational. It was from that. And then I watched it and I was like, I want him to come on my podcast, but it's not got enough followers yet. But I'll wait till it's built up a little bit and but I wanted you to come on. That's the thought I had. And
Yeah.
then it was mad because you sent me that message and I was like, fucking hell, look how I manifested that.
Yeah,
But
nah,
just
I hear
because your
you.
story's powerful though.
Yeah.
Your story is powerful
And
and
that's the
it's
thing. And
inspirational.
yeah, nah, for real. Because it's like, and this is what, you know why it's mad? Because I'm saying to people, when I'm telling my story, I'm saying to people, yeah, my story is inspirational, but I know for a fact there's at least 5, 10, however many other men from both sides. So I'm not just talking about my friends. I'm talking about the same individuals what was once my enemies. They've got the
Yeah.
same story. Do you know what I mean? So if we can build up a platform and create a safe place for people to talk and spread awareness and raise awareness and everyone to hear the story, do you know what I mean? This is kind of what I'm trying to do.
What is it like if you think end goal, what platform are you trying to create with what goal with it? Is it for people that have been in and out of prison? What's it for?
Now, because at first it was like, because when I first got out of jail, now, so I've done what I've done, come out of jail, so I'm saying I want to turn my life around. So I've got all these qualifications, all these type of things, but then due to decisions I've made in my past, employers didn't really believe in me. Do you get what I'm saying? So I know how hard that was. So like you said, when I got out of jail in 2019, I came out of the bail hostel in February 2020, and I was homeless when the pandemic hit in like March or April. So this time last year, I ended up losing the apartment I was in. So I was homeless, staying with family members and all that. So it's like, and everywhere I'm going for job interviews, and they're just like, oh, nah. Because I'm saying, I'm not going to lie. I'm not lying to anyone. I'm just going to keep it real. And they're just like, oh, nah. So it's like, I know how hard it is. And I wish that somebody would have told me how hard it is and I could have prepared myself. Do you get what I mean? So at first, it was like to build like a platform for ex-offenders and everything else. But then since I've been out now and people like yourself, I'm thinking, so it's like, there's so many different aspects of, say, healing. Do you know what I mean? And so many different aspects of communication. Do you get what I mean? And plus another thing, like everyone, we're all from the same city. So if you're doing your thing over there, I'm doing my thing over here. I've got a platform. You've got a platform. We can help each other build each other's platforms. Do you know what I mean? You've got yours, I've got mine. But doesn't mean we can't work together. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So the end goal for me, I would say, is like everyone, like, you know, like do you watch YouTube a lot?
Only just, you know. I only used to use it for music, but only just I'm getting into it. But go on.
Yeah. So it's like I think it's P Diddy has got Revolt. So he's like entertainment companies, Revolt.
I've heard about it.
Yeah. So then he's got different podcasts on that all fall under like Revolt. Yeah. Jay-Z's got his Tidal, his streaming platform.
Okay, I hear
so
you. Yeah.
P Diddy will provide the visual.
Yeah.
And then Jay-Z will provide the audio with his Tidal. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
So like, if everyone is singing from the same hymn sheet,
we can
do you know what I mean?
Together.
Of course, like this is what I'm saying. So this is what I'm saying. Like even like with your podcast, let's say for example, you've got a podcast coming out. All you have to do is create a trailer, a little minute or two trailer. You send that to me. I can put that on my Instagram, my YouTube, and all. So we're all helping each other. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nah, he is. Why Caboose? Is it why Caboose? Yeah, he is moving mad. He is moving mad still. Stardog's moving mad.
You are
saying crazy stuff. Now I'm talking to the viewers.
I can't see what you can see, you know.
Can you not? Do you want to see it? Because he's saying so, like this geezer said some crazy stuff.
Let me see.
Can you see it now on the screen?
Oh, you fucking prick!
But then this guy says he's moving mad.
Yeah,
like, so
he is moving mad.
Like, yeah, you move.
Good.
like fancy saying that. But yeah, so now promote your craft. No wait, hold on. Yeah, well we've done next generation. So promote your craft. So all your how do you pronounce it? Reiky.
So my business is called reiky. It's like a play on my name, Rukayah, and reiky.
Yeah. Oh, so the actual thing's called Reiki, but yours called reiky.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Play on it.
Yeah.
So what am I doing? Promoting my craft.
Yeah,
I'm shit at this bit, you know. I'm not good at like.
Don't you remember them like QVC? Was it QVC? What were them programs called back in the day? Yeah, QVC in it.
When
Good
they're
man.
selling watches in that.
Yeah, do all that and start get you look from angles and all that.
I don't like this bit. I'm not gonna lie, but I sell products that are all like it's like oils, essential oils, candles, bath soaks. They're all basically wellness products that help us clear and release energy. So I've got like an energy cleansing spray. So I don't know, do you know about smudging where you'd sage the room to clear the negative energy?
Is that thing that you burn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't know what it is, but I see it on Instagram.
Okay, so basically there's certain herbs that we can light to release heavy and negative energy in our space. And when we're not clearing the energy, we can be in an all right place. But say if where we're living is bogged down with shitty energy, we're gonna wake up and feel way down because of the space. So what I sell is I've made like a liquid form, so it's a spray as opposed to burning it.
Sick.
Sometimes burning it's just long, so if you just use it as like a room spray, it does the same thing.
Yeah, I'd probably fall asleep and set the place on fire.
Pardon?
I'd probably fall asleep and set the place on fire if I started burning it.
And I've put so many holes in my carpet. I looked in high school. What's it called?
Yeah. The Sputnik.
Yeah.
The hashish. Yeah. Crazy. The hot rocks.
There's loads of holes in my carpet from saging. So I created like a liquid form. So it's just like a room spray. And the reviews are mad about it. Like people love it. It really helps uplift them. So basically the products are that kind of stuff. Stuff that contributes to our well-being.
Might have to hit you up for a care package. What's that hoodie you got on? What's the hoodie you got? It looks like that's a nice hoodie. What's that?
These are on sale as well, actually. The Internal Evolution hoodies.
You're not very good at promoting your craft, are you?
I know. I don't like this bit. But you can go and have a look at them all on www.reiky.co.uk.
Yeah, send us the link and I'll put it all up on I'll put it on this when it goes up, and then I'll put it on my Insta and all that. So just send us the link and that through.
Wicked.
Yeah, therefore. But you know what? As well, I've got a few things in the pipeline as well. I'm gonna start a little project now. The whole world's opening up again.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to do this again sometime.
Definitely.
So we'll just keep the link. Yeah, we'll keep the link, and I'll keep you posted on whatever's going on. Yeah. So thanks for tapping in with us today.
I want to get you on my podcast.
Yeah,
just
sweet standard.
To hear your story.
Yeah,
like I know we touched on it a little bit here, but I just want to hear it in more like detail, like the whole process of it, and that's what my podcast kind of is about, like listening to people's stories and their journeys and what they've learned from. So I'd like to get you on there. Yeah,
no, defo. We'll like I said, keep the link and we'll defo talk and we'll sort something out.
Wicked.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Nice one for coming on. And I'll tag you in it as soon as it goes up and that. Yeah.
All right then.
All right, sweet. See you later. Bye.
Bye.